Welcome to day 11. Today I'm going to be doing some stuff with the environment, which that's what it's all about. This is an environment aware agent. You go into an application on your computer, you go into a website on your computer, you go into a project within your applications, and the agent is aware of it. You take your phone someplace, and the agent knows where you are. And the agent gains the special skills and knowledge and awareness of any environment that you enter. So today I'm going to be adding AGENTS.md into each environment. So whenever I show up into a particular application, then that just gets stuck into my system message and makes the agent a little bit more capable. And I think we're actually ready to start reorganizing some of these skills and stuff I use day to day to put it in a place where it'll work really well with Rook. All right, so as I mentioned yesterday, I'm getting used to all this stuff. It's really weird, this experiment I'm doing. Sometimes I come in here and act like it's a talk show, which is a little bit exhausting and actually not good for my voice. So what I've decided to do, which will keep me more sane, is to basically, just work. So you guys are holding my butt in my seat just by me working with somebody, the world in front of me. But occasionally I'll pop out and do like something that is like a monologue that maybe I can chop up and put into some content somewhere. That'd be fun, I think. So we'll see if that works. I also, at the beginning of the episodes, I do this to kind of get my mind in gear. At the end of the episodes, I do this, but probably a little bit better because I just know what I've done and what actually worked. And also throughout, I don't really touch my keyboard anymore, so you'll hear me chattering away with my agent and making notes that will be in the transcript in YouTube that I can pull later for whatever I want to do with those notes. All right, time to get into it. I think I'll start off with a little demo. So this will kind of be like an opening extension. I'll still be talking, but it won't go perfectly. So we'll just see what happens. All right, Rook's alive, but I actually don't want it to be. I'm going to go to Rook and delete its brain. Not much in there anyways. And I'll restart Rook. All right, so let's see what we got. Meet Rook. Again, I think the purple's cute. It's just the color that the agent came up with when we first vibe coded this thing, but it matches Rook pretty well. I'm going to use my DeepSeek agent, and I'm going to call it day 11. All right, so now whenever you go to a session, you can see the environments that your agent has recently encountered. Anything that it's seen in the last 5 minutes will be like up at top. Eventually things kind of fade away, but ultimately you'll be able to see the most relevant stuff up top, less relevant scrolling down, and there will be some sort of search affordance so that you can find anything you want. Right now, I'm explicitly requiring the agent to say, oh, I want to join this. Or, sorry, I'm explicitly requiring the user to join whatever environment that it sees. Soon, though, that'll be the agent saying, I think I want to join a particular environment. So, to test it out, we go to arcturuslabs.com, which is an environment that has some skills associated with it in the official skills repository. The environment list does not update automatically yet, but that shouldn't be too hard. It's just a subscription to the entity that has all that stuff. All right, so I'm going to join it. As soon as I join it, I see that it has talk to consultant skills. Guess what it does? It does fills out this form at the bottom of my page, and if I always allow, I'll never be bothered again until I explicitly say bother me again, or until something changes in the skill and we recognize, okay, we need to reevaluate this. You know, they could have done something nefarious by changing the skill and putting in stuff. So we want to always evaluate if the hash of the skill has changed. But I'm going to allow for this visit, so I'll get reminded again later. All right, so we've joined the one environment. It says it right there. Send a message to Arcturus to thank John Berryman for all the good work that he does with Rook. Okay. See, that's how you know you probably should have used a different name for your company. Okay, it's figuring stuff out. There's a bug there. It has finished that call, but it still thinks it's calling it. This is my little demo skill that has now been injected. And it says it's done. Can you tell? Let's see. Here we go. Just submitted. Not spam. Hi, Arcturus. All right, so we're being really thankful and very grateful. Very grateful user. All right. All right, so that's how it works. Whenever you show up into any environment, if it has skills associated with it, then you can basically pull in those new superpowers into your work. And you can be in multiple environments at the same time. You could be shopping, and you can be, you know, have your Obsidian Notes environment. You can just kind of cross and mash all these things together, and it's just the brain you need for that conversation. And a minimal way of dumping stuff into the context, so it's not cluttered up with everything. All right, audio's back. All right, immediate thing that I want to give it today is AGENTS.md inside each environment. Hello, Mr. Bo, do you need help? No. Hi, studio. What's its API? Some of the text coloring is almost the same color as the background. It's hard to read. It usually happens inside tables. We are occasionally the screen will blink. The chat screen will blink and all of the text will disappear while it is writing, and then if you scroll around or something, it'll come back. There might already be an issue for this one specifically, so check. Whenever an error comes back from the runtime agent, we are not always servicing that. For example, if I run out of usage for OpenAI, then and I send it a message, it'll basically just return control to me, but there's nothing that happens. It won't be an error or a message back from the agent. The tool calls are now spinning even after their execution is complete. To reprod this, we just need to do several tool calls in the span of a single turn. Actually, they're still spinning, so I guess even that's not true. This is more UX, but rather than using the cursor style approach of when the user types a message while the agent is running, you can elect to send now. I think the automatic send steering approach that Pi uses is more reasonable these days. So if a issue exists, then add all these to it. Otherwise, create an issue with these and label it appropriately. Why did it do that? That's not what I said. So create an issue if it doesn't already exist. Otherwise, add these to the existing issue. Label the issue appropriately. You don't need to add a new items heading, just go ahead and add them. You don't need to add a new items heading, just go ahead and add the items to the issue. I'm starting to suspect my speech-to-text model is crappy.
Issue updated with 4 new items.
Thank you. When the bundle is hashed to an ID, is that the environment bundle doing that, or is that some other class doing it? Where is that functionality encoded? Okay, then as it says in issue 73, I want to add AGENTS.md to the environments. So the bundle will now have the ability to have another item. So that I can describe it to you, give me the pattern that exists for the environment repository bundles. What's the path structure look like? Be very terse. Give me the path to skill.md based on this. Great. In that case, here is where agents.md would go. So make sure the bundle structure and the hashing now accommodate that. I think that should happen by default, the way we've made it work. Additionally, whenever we inject the content into the system message about the environments, we will inject this information about any agent files that exist there. And as you're doing this, I want you to create a templated approach to the information that we stick into the system message whenever we join one or more environments. I want to be able to see that template and modify it with you. Do this, and then let's talk about the templates. All right, while it's doing that, I am going to go to the way I'm organizing skills and start sticking them in places that make a little bit more sense. In the Rooknanigans vault, you should see a plugin for to-do lists. I want to extract that into its own repo in and I want to package it up so that it's in a good Obsidian plugin format. And then once it's there, I want to symlink it into the place where it used to live inside Rooknanigans. Okay. Is this the way templates are normally done in TypeScript? Is this the way templates are normally done in TypeScript? Is it typical to write your own or just to use something that is off the shelf? For example, what does py.dev use? Internally, what does py.dev use for its templates inside its own code? Oh. Sorry, he said it doesn't do that. Okay. Never mind, I see. I like your approach doing the native thing. Give me the link again. Hmm. Hmm. I am.
Well, are you gonna eat lunch with us? Because it's almost lunchtime.
How much time until lunch?
I don't know.
We should always know.
You didn't tell me.
No, not this time.
Okay.
Thank you, dude.
Welcome.
Okay, inside of hello.
Lunchtime.
Thank you, sweetie.
There you go. Thanks, Rick.
Indian curry. You know my wife is an amazing cook. Ooh, go. apologize for eating in front of you, but you know, it's something that humans did for 50,000 years, so I guess I don't apologize that much. We should break bread together more often. Do you notice that during COVID, when everyone went remote, everyone finally suddenly got kind of shy about eating around one another? We've gone too far, folks. One moment. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I did chin-ups right then, because that's how I stay fit. Just walk through the door and do chin-ups. There needs to be a separate template that gets dumped into the, gets appended to the system message, and it needs to explain Rook sufficiently for Rook to respond correctly to user interactions. So let's create another template for that, which will probably be a separate template so that we don't just have these things coupled together, but it's important to have that too. I don't know what to call it, maybe Rook Basic Details or something, or Rook Basic Instructions. You come up with something smart and tell me. The content that it's going to have is going to explain what Rook is. Rook is an environment-aware personal assistant. Rook wraps any agent that can speak agent-client protocol and because you can wrap any agent, Rook is your agent. So it has access to all the skills that you would give your Claude Code or whatever agent you have connected to the Rook server. Rook is Rook is surfaced through desktop and iPhone clients. The clients are what make Rook environment aware. For instance, the desktop app will use accessibility to determine the name of the application in use, the name of the window, the address associated with a website, etc., and any useful details. Similarly, the mobile device is aware of latitude and longitude and can determine, based on open data sets, what building you're in, and from that building determine if it's associated with like a website or any company. When an environment becomes available, environments are often associated with bundles of capability, which might involve MCP servers, agent skills, AGENTS.md, or even applications. when you start a session in Rook, it's just an agentic chat session, but you can elect to enter any environment, and you can review the bundles of capability, choosing to accept or reject them, and any accepted bundles of capability will be inserted into the Rook agent so that Rook will be suddenly imbued with the capabilities of the environments that it enters. This can be store locations, giving you access to the inventory and aisle layouts. This can be API knowledge associated with web apps or with desktop native applications. Or it can be just simple stateful awareness. What's going on here? Based on these skills, the agent will be able to interact with the environment on your behalf based on the conversation that you're having. And the environment should be able to respond as well. The environment repositories bundles of capability are associated with environments via environment repositories. Rook may have access to several environment repositories. There is an official environment repository that contains skills that we have curated. There can also be community generated environment repositories. And finally, users can track their own environmental repositories. This is really useful because they can talk to their agent, talk to Rook at any point in time and say, hey, remember this whenever it's associated with this environment. And the agent will respond by asking, verifying the environment and whether you want to stick it in an AGENTS.markdown or a skill or MCP server. This way you can build up useful behavior that is attached to the places you visit and the software that you use. You can enter multiple environments and have access to multiple bundles of capabilities simultaneously. When you no longer need the capabilities, you can leave the environments and the context will be freed of the unnecessary clutter. This is good for now, but I want to see that document opened so I can review it. Let's turn this to something like attaching memories, to-do lists, reminders, skills, and capabilities to an environment. In the instructions here, we should explain what the Rook agent has access to. It is entered an environment and is capable of writing behavior, writing agent skills, and it is capable of writing agent skills and AGENTS.md and MCP services to be associated with a particular environment. We need to explain where these environments or where these bundles are and exactly where the skills and agents.md should be written to within each bundle, just in a generic instruction at the top of this file. As part of the instructions, it is super important that the capabilities, reminders, to-dos, etc. be written into the correct location. So if there is any uncertainty at all, the agent needs to double check about which environment it is writing to. And also, these different types of assets have different are appropriate for different situations. Write into skills whenever there is a multi-part task that is required to be done, or whenever it's kind of a nested approach to satisfying a task. Make sure to write skills following the agent skills methodology with the YAML section at the top that has the name and description. The file should be relatively short and should reference any important details in larger files that are more specific, which are located within the name of the skill must correspond to the name of its containing folder. Skills may also be associated with scripts, and they are to be placed in the we're going to run into issues where the scripts folder contains package.json that encourages the agent to download all these packages, and then we're going to Merkle tree hash some giant node file directory. We'll figure that out when we get there. Whenever you're creating a piece of consistent information that needs to be absolutely read every time we enter this environment. This can be information about how we use this environment, the typical mores and patterns that you see used in this environment. But it can also be used for capturing to-do lists that are going to be associated with this environment, or just general reminders. Make sure that if there's anything that is associated with time limits or timing, that you place that in agents.md as well. For example, if someone is tracking a to-do list, then for every to-do item, incorporate the time, the date and time that the item was written, and the date and time that the item was modified, and the date and time that it was completed. But also ask if you should just delete the items as they're completed, which is probably a good idea. if the make sure to understand which skill the user wishes to write to. Is it an existing skill? Make sure you're writing to the correct one. Or does the user wish to create a new skill? Make sure you verify this. Make sure to put all of the above into second person tense. You are Rook. Explain the directory layout of a bundle using the angle bracket notation that we've used above. Uh, Uh-oh. Haven't scrolled back very often. That's awkward. Also make sure that the agent is writing to the correct bundle, because an environment can have multiple bundles. A bundle can have multiple skills. There can be multiple environments. So all of these things need to be verified, and give examples of the agent asking useful clarifying questions. In the individual environment descriptions, we're not explaining where to place the AGENTS.md or the MCP stuff. Secretly, I don't know what to do with the MCP stuff yet, so I'm hoping that it makes up some logical sounding approach. Explain that the metadata associated with each environment might have useful information that you can use to search the internet and find more details that you need. But it also might not be dependable, so use discretion and good judgment. Okay, make these changes now. All right, while you're cooking, let's see what's up with my to-do app. Inside a repository, what is the canonical place to stick your agent skills? That works for any agent harness. Search online. I think you're using old information. Check the look up agent skills. There's like a Linux Foundation that is keeping up with it, and see what they advise for the general location within a project. According to that official website, what is a good naming strategy for skills? Are they verbs or nouns or what? All right. Wow. The sentences all got double spaces. How strange. make sentences have single spaces, and also do not use em dashes, and explain that Rook never uses em dashes. Do not split paragraphs so that they fit within a column width. Just have one long line per paragraph. Give me a link to the repo. Okay, how would you install this to-do app in the Tiddly John vault? Just tell me how it would work. You're kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Huh?
You're kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
I take too long in the bathroom?
No, you just read all the time.
Oh. My period is annoying the hell out of me.
Is my understanding correct that the environment prompt template will not be shown if we are not inside any environment? This is a good example. We never actually have to distinguish between these two bundles. So you can actually remove all the conversation about distinguishing between bundles from the perspective of the agent at this point. The instructions need to only present it with the capability of writing to the default bundle for each environment. Back towards the top on line 10, this should be changed to And if this differs from what I told you earlier, I apologize. Use Brave to search Obsidian official documentation, or use the skill to see if the documentation is there and figure out how they recommend installing a plugin from a GitHub repository. Hello, thank you. This is my wife. This is my wife. Where'd you go?
What are you doing? Is that live?
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh.
Uh-oh, I just killed everything. Hey, when do I need to leave?
What?
When do I need to leave?
I'll say somewhere between 4:30, a little bit past 4:30.
Okay. Let me see the official website for this tool. I want to prove to myself that it's the way. Okay. No. I actually like distinguishing between the bundles when we print out the environment instructions. You can print one agent's file for each bundle and use the bundle name as like the little heading there in bold, but I just don't want the heading to be default. I want the heading to be personal. And as a double check, we are also writing to the personal directory, and we're reading from the personal directory inside right? Is there any way to install the Brat plugin globally in all of my vaults? Okay, let's use that pattern. Let's go ahead. Install the Brat plugin, and then after that I want you to use the Brat plugin to install the Rook to Do plugin inside my Tiddly John vault. Tell me when you're done. If there are any bugs or errors or stuff along the way, then update the To Do plugin so that it works with the Brat plugin. Make sure you don't mess around with anything else inside my Tiddly John vault. All right. Hey, personal. Nice. Okay. That's interesting. All right. All right, I'm going to try to create some reminders and skills every time I go to X. So now I have seen the X environment. I've got a notification. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, by the way, Christy Kotovan is amazing at teaching Descript and some of the other technologies. Time well worth it. All right, so now since I'm inside that environment, we got a couple of different ones. X home, X notifications. That could get annoying after a while, but we'll see. All right, I've entered the environment. Something changes the size of the screen. That's a bug. Okay. Hi. And then we go to, let's see, tail N1. Pi traces. Huh, come on. Copy relative path. Oh. Must have been it. JQ. Oh. All right, here's the actual content. You get the Pi header stuff, and now it says you are rook. All right, here we go. Huh. Uh-oh. But I don't see the corresponding environment for when I, oops. Check real quickly why that's not happening. Should there be two? Yeah. Should there be two call sites, or is this a place where we should unify them to a single call site? It sounds like there is behavior copied to two different places. But I don't want to dry something up that shouldn't be dry. I want the thing to be named from script. Okay, so all right. Hi. Whoops, that didn't work. Ah, because there's no to-dos directory, I betcha. Yeah. Yeah. I'll fix that later. Notice that this behavior is not just for web environment, but also for so do we need to generalize it further so that it works for all environment types? This will generally be the case. Oh, bah. does this make a bit of a mess of the code? Now, since we've unified everything that was split up in a weird way, is the code need to be refactored to handle this? If not, that's okay. I'd rather get back to my other stuff. It's clean. Yay, great, fine. All right. What environments am I in right now? It's so weird that it's aware of itself. It's self-aware. You have changed me, master. Yanks, 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 yanks. I just bought my little stupid blue sticker, and because I bought a blue sticker, I immediately got 10 more followers. Is that the blue sticker, or is that me do this silly streaming experiment that I'm doing? I don't know. People have finally quit give me a +1, which is also okay. All right. Yep. Woo. That's a bug. Huh, okay. Register this as a bug. For some reason, we appear to have entered the same environment twice. Actually, let's create that on a new issue that's called Environment Screen Improvements. This would be under a bugs section, and then under improvements section, add the following. Make the environments so that you can automatically join them every time. Crap, what did I call it? Ah. Create a new table in the data store that keeps track of the joinability of each environment. We need to call it something better though. But the idea is each environment can be always joined every time it appears, can be automatically joined, which would give the agent the ability to elect to join, can be requested to join, so the agent could ask you if it can join, and can be never joined, which would require the user to specifically go and join the environment manually. when there are a lot of websites under one domain that are visited, like when I go to Twitter and click on everyone's like Twitter page and Twitter posts and stuff, then the environments page is going to get really noisy with the nested environments that we might join. So somehow we'll have to collapse them. Yeah, not good enough for now. All right, we'll join this guy. List all the environments that I'm in right now. Uh-oh. Eh. Okay, now that's a little bit weird. Guidelines, your rook. Agents. Well, shoot. What was the last thing we were talking about here? There's a chat window UI bug where if we go back to an existing session that's still running, it doesn't reload the messages, and I have to ask what it was talking about. Also, somewhere else, I've seen it like double load the environment if for some reason the runtime agent starts back up, and that will like show all the messages multiple times. See if there's an issue for this in the GitHub repo, and if there isn't, then create one or add one to an existing bag of bugs issue. See, but that time it worked. Okay, now I just joined but it didn't actually, but according to the system message, it just joined Note that in the environments page, I did see two environments that were both labeled. So maybe one of them was secretly actually, and I clicked on that one. Or that might just be a different bug altogether. But figure out what the problem is. If I join, I should also automatically join. And the should show both of those currently entered environments. disappeared in a thinking block. Man. Blah. Oh no. Hmm. 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 Oh. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Hi. Anytime I go to x.com, I would like it to say welcome to x.com via my skill, or I don't know, skill agents at MD. What should I do? All this, create a new chat. Good environments. Oh. Actually. Okay. Actually, make it use the Mac say command to say welcome to x.com. Okay, so create a new agent. Go to this, sure. Okay.
Welcome to X.com.
That's so cool. Here's another issue to create. Whenever we enter an environment and restart the agent, if we are in an environment that has AGENTS.md we need to remind the agent to read those agents.md and execute on them. So anytime we're using this template, basically, we need to inject a user message. We need to inject a message in the first user message, or maybe we need to inject an actual user message even before the user does it, to indicate that we've reopened that we've just entered a particular environment and so we need to read all of the instructions associated with that environment and execute on them now. Note that sometimes we'll restart and it will already be inside an environment, and when we restart we will stay inside the old environments but join a new environment. In that case, we don't need to execute all the agent files for all of the environments, just the ones that we joined. So make an issue for that, and when you've created that issue, stick it to the end of the to-dos inside issue number 2, which is my tracking list. Oh, one important note to add to that issue is that we're going to be injecting user messages to the agent inside user messages, and we also need to set up the instructions to anticipate it, and we need to cordon off those messages so that they don't quite look like they're from the user. We need to tell the agent that, you know, messages in a particular angle bracket something are going to be, you know, instructions that are passed in from the system. Okay, so now Tilly John. Oops. That's a bug there, dang it. Rawr. Um, Whenever I'm in the Tiddly John environment, I want to be able to use this to-dos list So can you look in the project, in the plugin for the to-dos list and find the .agent skills and symlink those to where they belong? Well, that's gonna be wild if that works.
Tapster.
Hello. Issue 82 is pretty long and complex. Can you just simplify it like I just written it? Oh wow, that's cool. Oh. What are the skills associated with Tiddly John? This should look interesting by now. In Tiddly John, can you make another to-do for taking out the trash? In the details, talk about how it's the trash in every garbage can in every room. Will it work? Ruh-roh. That's gonna be looking for a while. Tell me what you're up to. You're taking too long. You should have enough clues around you to figure out what to do. The user is impatient. Huh. Oh, okay, there we go. That's pretty cool. All right, that's pretty cool. Now you had some trouble. Can you explain the trouble that you had? Maybe we should update the skill instructions. Hmm. Yeah, go ahead and drop that. We don't need that fixed quite yet. Set the skill back to the way it was. Okay. One thing that I need to have is something that takes the transcript and automatically writes the things that I accomplished, because I freaking halfway forget it each time. That'd be fun to read before each day's subsequent stream. But for today, I think we'll wrap it. 3 hours and 6 minutes for today. Much accomplished. At this point, you can take the agent and travel to different websites, different applications, in different locations. And once you're there, you can talk to the agent and say, next time I'm here, remind me about this. Here's my to-do list. Here is a memory I would like to associate with this environment. You can also add skills for an environment just by talking to the agent. Please, let's just work through this skill and figure out how things work. One of the immediate skills that I used to experiment with this is I created my own Obsidian to-do application. And of course, like all the to-do applications, you can drag and drop the to-dos. You can create new to-dos as just Obsidian notes. But of course, every application should be accessible and legible to your agent and to Rook in particular. So at this point, if you go to any of my Obsidians that have the to-do application installed, then I can use it just like normal, but the agent is sitting right there and is already aware that this Obsidian has the to-do application inside of it, and it understands also how to make, you know, motions in the cards and the columns and change tags and all that stuff as well. So that's cool that it basically just worked. I think I've got a little bit of tweaking to do to the instructions, but not bad for a day. So that's it. I'm going to be writing a talk for an upcoming event I'm really excited about with O'Reilly. I'm going to be explaining kind of the transition that I've gone through in the past 5 months, where I realized that, oh yeah, really everything is an agent. And I'll be explaining how you can make agents pretty easily, and agents should actually be the core of AI product going forward. I'll work on my pitch. That was a little bit long-winded. But anyway, that's it for today, and I will be back tomorrow. Adventure awaits.